All right. Hey team, what's going on? Back to YouTube Live. Excited today. Today is December 20th. That's pretty fun. Um, Getting close to Christmas, which is cool. We got someone joining here. So how do I do that? Hold on, let me exit that. To here, we got Mika. All right, Mika, you're one of the people who is in the lucky draw. So Mika, just if you are, remember that you are on Zoom. So Uh, if you do want to show your face, that's fine. If you don't want to show your face, that's also fine. Of course, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask me. I know you guys can probably see everything that's happening on my screen here, but that's okay. So, all right, what are we talking about today? So, firstly, actually, what I want to do is talk about, and I'm waiting for the box, the lucky draw box, but I have a bunch of names here. All right, so I lost you guys, but I am back. So what I was going to say is I am excited to announce that we do have a bunch of names here for the lucky draw. So you can win one private lesson at ULC with me or some of our other awesome teachers as well. So I'm super excited about that. So that might be an early Christmas present for you guys. But it is just this really, really nice thank you for thank you for filling this in. I really do appreciate that. If you guys have any questions, of course, um, yeah, just throw that in the comments or Mika, if you have you can also chat with me as well. Your name is in here, so that's good. I hope you win because you're on the Zoom. So thank you so much for watching. All right. Hi, Natalia. How are you? Natalia, is your name in here? Okay, maybe. I don't know if Natalia's name's in here, but I will check and hopefully I pick it out at the end of the stream. So you don't have to be on the stream. You don't have to be on the stream while we're doing this. But don't worry, we will announce the winners after. Jalen, how many winners? No, how many winners though? Eight winners. Okay, so I think about close to 40 students submitted their responses to the survey. So yeah, eight divided by 35, that's like a 25% chance that you're going to get a free private lesson today. So that's pretty cool. So Merry Christmas for that. So what I'm going to do now is I lost my presentation. Oh, there it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the slideshow and we're going to get started. So, all right, what are we talking about today? That's a good question. So I did this seminar, I guess. I did this this seminar at SAS, Singapore American School, on Tuesday. So I thought I would bring it back for you guys here today. Um, Something that like a lot of my students ask me, and this is not something that we spend a lot of time on in class. This is something I might go more into for my private lessons, but not necessarily something that I will do in class. I know a lot of my students probably have heard a lot of this before because it's important to me that not only do we learn English, but we learn English the right way. So a lot of my students get frustrated. Oh, Matt, I can't remember vocabulary, or you taught me something that, oh, I just can't remember it. Or how do I learn what I use today? How do I use that in my real life? So a lot of those things we're going to be talking about today. So again, if you have any questions, so I see Natalia is watching. Hopefully your son is being quiet somewhere. But I do know we do have Natalia watching, so that's good. So if you have any questions, please just put it in the comments, or Mika, like I said, you're watching here on Zoom. If you have anything, just interrupt me. Just say, hey, what's up? So I have the comments to my left. So if you guys want to see anything, just let me know. Right. So let's move on. Let's go to the first page. So this one. not really important, but just for fun, this is something that we can do at the beginning of classes. So if you guys are ready to comment, but anyway, I'll just go through this. So this is me. My name is Matt. I'm from Canada, but I've been living in Singapore for 18 years. It's a long time, 18, 19 years. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to play a quick game here called Two Truths and One Lie. I'll give you guys three things about me. Many of you probably know, but if you don't know, then maybe now you know. All right. So, what number one is I have two daughters. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's false. I don't know. I know many of you came to the Christmas party. You met one daughter of mine, but do I have two? Do I have three? Do I have a son? Who knows? Even though I know I'm very young, I might have five kids, maybe. All right, my girls study at the Singapore American School. And number three, I play baseball at the Singapore American School. Just give you 1 second to just guess which one is true, which one is false. This is something that you guys probably have played with your teacher before in the past. All right, so there we go. Which one is true? Number one is true. I have two daughters. They're very beautiful. They're 11 and 8 years old, but they do not study at SAS. They study at UWC here in Singapore. And I do play baseball at SAS, or at least I used to. I don't really play much anymore. I know I just said I'm young, but that's not true. I'm kind of getting a bit old now. So my knees, they hurt when it rains. I feel it. So that's just, I have OLD, as my friends would say. All right. So that's me. If you guys want to introduce yourself, yeah, Natalia, that's correct. Number one was true. If you guys want to introduce yourself in the comments, you can do two truths and one lie to me in the comments. That would be pretty cool. I'd learn a little bit about you as well. So if you want to do that, that would be great. If not, it's fine. Let's go. All right. So what are we going to do today? Here are the objectives. Hopefully, we're going to understand how to improve different aspects of your English, how to make learning English a little bit faster, a little bit easier, tips and tricks that are going to help you to improve. Now, there's a little warning here. I have been teaching English for 18 years, so since 2006. All right, that's a long time. And very few of my students listen to me when I talk about this. Okay, so hopefully one of you that is watching uh, is going to improve your English by watching this, and you are going to at least do like one of these tips as we move forward. Hopefully, we can implement these techniques immediately. So this presentation was designed as it's kind of a seminar where students were able to interact with each other. Now you guys are by yourself. So this is something you can do next time you meet someone that speaks English or that some of your classmates or something that you can ask your teacher to do in class as well. And hopefully we can, build a little bit of confidence. So yeah, I think that's actually confidence in English is the most important thing. We have to be confident, and anytime you learn a language, we can't be afraid to make mistakes. We just got to try, got to do it our best. So this presentation wasn't designed for YouTube, so I will kind of jump around a little bit. And if you guys do have any questions, again, please comment. And if you like this video, obviously subscribe to our channel. Mark and myself, we're going to be making a lot more videos in the future. So this is all coming back. And today I might be secretly interviewing one of our teachers. He knows about it, but he's scared. He's worried about his face or whatever. But he's handsome, so don't worry. All right, so let's move on. Maybe okay. Yeah. So this is a warm up. Again, this is something that you can do by yourself. This is something that you can do at home. This is something that you can add in the comments as well. So work with a partner, or our first tip next is going to be actually learning how to think in English. So this is something you can do by yourself as well. So why are you learning English? So think about that. Why are you learning English? So it's 2025 is coming, right? It's December 20th. We got 11 days. I know a lot of students are going to set new goals for 2025. I know I am, right? I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to drink less. And yeah, no matter how long that goal lasts for, I'm not sure, but I'm going to at least set some goals for 2021 and make, or 2025, 2021, 2025, and make sure that I try to hit those. So you could think about these questions. You don't have to do it now. You can write it down. You can do it later. But why are you learning English? And then what is the one thing you would like to improve about your English? What's the one thing you'd like to improve about your English in 2025? And you can think about why. Now, I had about 35 students at the seminar on Tuesday, and I asked everybody this question, what's the one thing you would like to improve? And most of the students said speaking or communication or listening and speaking, right? Nobody said writing, nobody said reading, well, maybe a few, but most of the students were really interested in improving their speaking, improving their communication. So I'm going to try to help you out with that today. All right, so here we go. Improve your spoken English. So we got three pictures here. You can kind of guess what we're talking about, but number one is think in English. I know this sounds crazy, but this is something that we can do by ourselves. We don't need a speaking partner. Yeah, vocabulary, Natalia. I'm gonna get to that. If you stay here, maybe in about 20 minutes, I'll get to how you can improve your vocabulary, but you're not gonna like it. But one thing we can do is we can think in English, right? So if all of us have thoughts, right? All of us have an inner voice, a dialogue, hey, what am I going to do today? Or, oh, I really want to drink some coffee. So instead of doing that in your native language, instead of doing that in Russian, instead of doing that in Chinese or Japanese or Korean or Brazilian, Portuguese, um, try to do that in English. So, oh, hey, you know what? I'm really thirsty. I want to drink some water today, or I want to go get some water. Instead of saying, oh, 我想喝水 or 水を飲みたい, right? Instead of doing that in Chinese or Japanese or Korean, I want you to do that in English. So this is a really cool test, and it's something that has worked for many of my students in the past. So a lot of my students, um, a lot of my students have had dreams in English. So if you've had a dream in English, you can comment as well. Yeah, yes, I've had a dream in English. But if you've never had a dream in English, so you're sleeping and you're having a dream, everybody dreams, and you're speaking English inside that dream, it's pretty weird. So I've done that. I've had a dream in Japanese before, and I've had a dream in Chinese before. It's pretty strange because you're like, whoa, it's because you're supposed to dream in English because I'm an English speaker and you guys are from Russia or from Canada or from China. Um, so it's really interesting when we dream in English. So what I'm trying to say is before you go to sleep, so as you're falling asleep, this is also a really good way to fall asleep. If you're thinking in English, it's tiring, so you're going to sleep faster. But if you try this for like 3, 4, 5 days in a row, you just think in English. What did you do today? Oh, this morning I woke up. I had a cup of coffee. I made breakfast for my child. And you kind of go through your day. What did you do for the whole day in English? And you drift off to sleep. There's a good chance you're going to have an English dream, or at least you're going to try to speak English in your dream. So try that out tonight. Try that out for the next few nights. Two things. One, it's a really good way to fall asleep. And two, you might have an English dream. And also, it's really good to improve your English because you're thinking in English. So try to use new words or new vocabulary that you found that day or that you learned in class. Try and write that down before you go to sleep. Read it, think about it in English. That might help you to remember those things as well. All right. And another thing is, like I'm doing right now, I'm just talking to myself, even though I know you guys are watching. But I am just kind of talking to myself. So that's also another thing you can do is you can use a mirror, you can use a camera, like I'm doing right now. I'm just talking to my camera. And if I were practicing Japanese, if I were practicing English, for you guys English, this is something that we can do. And then I can watch it later and be like, okay, my pronunciation is good. Oh, my pronunciation sucks. I need to improve that. How can we do that? Or even I have one student I won't mention your name, but she's one of my favorite students. I see her every single day. She has a new boyfriend, which is really cool. And a lot of my advice sometimes is if you want to improve English, you can find a boyfriend or a girlfriend that speaks English, and then that will really help you. Now, most of you are married, so it's difficult to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So what does she use? ChatGPT. So now you can talk to ChatGPT and it will talk back to you and you can have conversations. And this is really good way to improve your pronunciation because if ChatGPT can understand you, then most native speakers, most English people are going to be able to understand you. So this is something that's quite new. I don't know if the unpaid version of ChatGPT has the conversation or the speech thing, but it is really, really cool. Um, I could show you that. Maybe if I have time at the end of class, at the end of the hour, maybe I'll show you the ChatGPT thing. So remind me to do that if you want. And then repeat after others. So this is something that I can do as I watch TV or listen to a movie or podcasts, right, to kind of match fluency. So this is something where I'm watching Netflix, I'm watching Friends, I'm watching Modern Family, which we might do a little bit later. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. Where we watch something and we try to put ourselves into that TV show or put ourselves into that movie. So we watch the same movie again and again and again, and we try to act with them and we try to speak with them. Now, I know this all sounds crazy. Think in English, talk to yourself, watch movies, and talk to your TV. It all sounds crazy. This is why most of my students never do this, but it is something that really, really would be helpful for you guys to learn. So I have one kind of success story from myself as a teacher. So I had one student, she was from Korea. She was in her 50s. So age is not an issue. And what she did was she memorized an entire movie over 1 year. So it was Pride and Prejudice. I mean, to me is a boring movie, but she watched that movie almost every single day. She watched that movie every single day and she memorized the entire 2 hour movie. And she went from beginner to advanced in 1 year. So from beginner to advanced in 1 year. Now, it was a little bit different. She was studying every single day, 5 days a week. So it's a little bit different from our students. Most of you study 2 days a week. But like I said last time and English, time is really, really important. The more time you spend, the faster your English is going to improve. So here's how to improve your spoken English without a partner. So this is something that this will help your everything. So this is how without anyone. So a lot of my students, oh, I don't have anyone to talk to. Well, yeah, just be a crazy person. And like me right now, talk to yourself. It also works. All right. So this is something you can do at home. This is something you can do in your head, or you can do with ChatGPT, or you can do into a camera, or if you have a friend that you try to practice with, this is really important. So this is something that actually we call 4-3-2. So 4-3-2. So 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and 2 minutes. Um, because it was a seminar, I only did 2 minutes and 1 minute. So just think about your last holiday. What did you do? What did you do? So set a timer. We're not going to do that right now, but this is something how you can activate this. Set a timer and think about your past holiday. Think about some holiday you took in the past. Doesn't have to be your last one. It could also be a future one. So you're going to change the questions. Where will you go? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to go with? That's okay. But try to do this by yourself. You can talk to yourself, talk to a mirror. So just answer these questions. Where did you go? Who did you go with? What did you do? What did you eat? Talk for 2 minutes. So this is something that's going to help with if any of you are interested in taking IELTS, the speaking test part two. You have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes without stopping. So this might be something. This is a activation that will help you um, to improve your English for that test if you are going to take the IELTS ever. So think about that for 2 minutes. Just talk for 2 minutes. What did you do about your last holiday? Then you stop and then do the same thing, but talk for 1 minute. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build fluency, we're trying to build speed. So how quickly can we talk? How quickly if it takes me 2 minutes to say something, can I squeeze that down to 1 minute? Can I think instead of oh, last holiday, where did I? We try to remove that and we try to really speed that up. So, like I said, most of the time in class, if I ever do this, it'll be 4-3-2. My students hate this, by the way. They really, really hate this because it's hard to speak for 4 minutes without stopping. It's really, really difficult. But if we can do 4 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 2 minutes, even 1 minute, if we can break that down, it only takes 10 minutes to do this activity. 4-3-2-1 only takes 10 minutes to do this activity, but it's really, really helpful to build speed, right? So I'm saying the same thing again and again. So repetition is really, really important. If we teach our children how to tie a shoe, right? It takes them, they're like, they don't know how to do it, takes them forever. This is called conscious incompetence, but it's fine. So they're trying to tie their shoe, but they can't do it. They practice, they practice, they practice. Eventually, now, if you tie your shoe, you don't even think about it. You do it, right? So English is the same. We have to get into that mode where we're just doing it and we're just thinking in English and we're fluently able to produce the language. That's really, really what we need to get to. A lot of students think about accuracy. They want to be perfect. They want to be correct. They want to have the right answer. Don't worry about that now. Important now is think in English, speak in English. We want to go as quickly as possible. We want to stop translating inside our head. This activity is really, really going to help you. And if you are with a partner, practicing with your husband, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, with your wife, or just with a friend later today, switch partners, and then partner one talks for 2 minutes. Wait, partner two talks for 1 minute. And there we go. And of course, if you're having a partner, then listen actively, like we talked about last Friday. All right. So another thing that we can talk about here is comprehensible input. So this is something where we're not really learning grammar, we're not learning accuracy, we're just trying to learn English. We're just trying to learn English naturally. So this is by input skills, right? So we're talking about our input skills, which are really, really important. So we need to balance input and output. So, like I said, a lot of my students said, "Hey, Matt, I want to improve my speaking. I want to improve my speaking. I want to improve my vocabulary." So even when we improve vocabulary, I think what Natalia means is like, I want to improve my spoken vocabulary. So a lot of my students say, I always want to use the simple word, right? So what is a good thing, right? Instead of saying advantage, I want to say good thing, right? It's easier to say good thing than advantage, or bad thing, or disadvantage, right? So that's a difficult word, disadvantage, right? Disadvantage, right? That's 4 syllables, quite long. So if I want to start to be able to use those words, of course, I need the input, okay, which is going to be listening and reading, right? I need the input skills. So the more I listen, the more I read, the more I do both of these things at the same time, the faster my English is going to improve in terms of input. But most of my students want to improve output, right? Most of my students want to improve output. Now, most students don't care about writing. Now we have my best friend, ChatGPT, can do most of the writing for us, but we are texting, we are sending messages, so we do want to make sure that our writing is accurate. So the more we read, the more we write. And English is not just about you guys who are watching this. Most of you guys are watching this are non-native speakers. Your kids are living here in Singapore. They also go to school. They need to improve their writing. Even native speakers need to improve their writing. My children need to improve their writing. What's the best way to improve writing? Actually, is reading. The more we read, the more input we put inside our brain, the better our writing is going to become. And that's the same for speaking, right? The more that we input, right, we're going to be able to output. So the reason why I called this comprehensible input is this is kind of a new age kind of thing in terms of learning language. And it talks about just kind of learning through input. So how can we do that? Okay, so I didn't do the fancy thing where it just comes up one by one. But how can we do input? So graded readers. These are things that you can find online at your bookstore, probably your kid's library at their school. These are readers that are going to be suitable for your English level. But if you look at the last comment here, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. Let me try and bring up the annotate. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. I'm going to pull up. Where's the little laser? All right. So if you see this, right, this is really important. Listen or read slightly above your level. So if you're in elementary at our school, or if you're an intermediate at our school, if you're an advanced at our school, let's try to go like one level higher. Let's elementary. If I go home, I'm going to try to practice some things in pre-intermediate. Just for input, just to put things into my head. It's going to be a little bit challenging. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but I want to read something that is a bit tougher for my level. So if I'm A2, maybe I'm going to find a book that's B1, right? I'm going to find a children's book that will help me kind of input at this level. So videos with subtitles, Even listening to this video right now, I know I'm speaking pretty quickly. I'm trying to slow down a little bit. But podcasts or children's books, I love children's books for improving our vocabulary, improving our reading skills, improving our output skills as well. Children's books are really, really good because they're written for native speakers. So the vocabulary is actually not so easy in children's books. So that's something that we can do. So short videos. I always recommend putting the subtitles on, especially if you're a lower English level. Um, Watch a Netflix video, English subtitles. Now, it doesn't have to be for the whole 2 hours or the whole hour movie. It can just be for 5 minutes. It can be for 10 minutes. Try to be a little bit more active in your learning, right? Try and take a little bit of an active approach. Take notes, pause the movie, go back. What did he say? How did he say that? Oh, he used this word. Oh, I like that. I like that phrase. I like that sentence. All of these things are going to be really, really helpful. Like I said, 18 years teaching. I tell my students to do this all the time. Not many do it. So hopefully for the 16 of you watching right now, a few of you probably work here. So thank you for watching. And one of them's me. But if you are watching this, try and do this over the weekend. Watch a Netflix video, pause it, go back, pause it, go back, pause it, go back. Try and watch that video again and again. Watch that scene again and again. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Try and do that. Okay. And then if we want to improve our output, so not just watching it, but try to summarize it. So go back to what we talked about earlier, um, thinking in English or talking to yourself. We can do that after we watch something. Okay, what did I just watch? How did that happen? What happened in that scene, in that movie? What happened? Tell somebody about it. Come to class and tell your teacher, hey, actually, I told you about that student who learned English in 1 year. She was actually, I loved her. She was amazing, but she was actually also as a teacher very annoying because she came to my class. Matt, I watched this movie. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? So I had no break time for 1 year because she kept asking me questions. Hey Matt, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? So of course I was happy to help her. I'm a teacher at heart, but it was something I was like, I need a break here. But she kept asking me a bunch of questions, which is amazing. So take those things at home and bring those here. Dion, absolutely, you're an English teacher, so you should know this, but absolutely, I watched when I learned Japanese, I watched Hana Yori Dango, and which was a great movie, Inoue Mao, very beautiful. Maybe not now, but this is going back 15, 16 years ago. So I watched Hana Yori Dango, which is four flowers, about four. I think China has this as well, but it's like four boys and one girl, and she's like this love hexagon that kind of happens between this. It was a really good show, but I watched that fully in Japanese with Japanese subtitles. And at that time was really, really helpful for me to learn Japanese. So absolutely, you can do that. So Dion, yeah, whoever you're in love with this week, find some children's books or something like that. It'll help. So it's really, really important. Input, input, input. Listen as much as you can. So you're an English teacher, you should know this, but thank you for asking a question on the YouTube. Answer questions. What did I learn? What new vocabulary was there? And then maybe ask some follow-up questions. Bring that to your teacher. They'll be super excited. Wow, this student's really taking an active approach to learning. All right. So that took some time. Okay, so one thing that we can do is, you're welcome, Dion. Um, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to watch this on YouTube. So Modern Family, I have Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus. What I will do is I will put this scene in the comments later. I'll put this scene into the comments later. This is Modern Family, one of my favorite TV shows. And it's the opening scene of the pilot of the first episodes, which is kind of hectic and crazy. And there's a mom and a dad and a mom inside in their kitchen, and the kids are coming in, and it's hectic in the morning, and they're making breakfast. It's just one of my favorite scenes. So something that you can watch if you have Disney Plus. Open up Modern Family, season one, episode one. Um, hey, Faizayev. Good morning. Um, Yeah, so if you do have Disney Plus, or you can also find this on YouTube, just Modern Family season one, episode one, pilot, opening scene. You can watch this. It's about 4 minutes long, just introduces all the characters in the show. It's really, really good. They speak really quickly, but try to do that with English subtitles and then think about it, summarize it, watch that scene 4, 5, 6 times. That's only 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So watch it again and again and again. It'll be really helpful. All right. So think about that. Watch any TV show. It doesn't have to be Modern Family. It could be any TV show, but just try to watch that and try to summarize with a partner, summarize with by yourself. All right. Okay. Building vocabulary, Natalia. If you're still here, um, these cards here are amazing. You have to use these. I think they're I know I'm old school. Most students want to use an app. Most students want to use something. Uh, yeah, most students want to use an app. I definitely disagree with using an app. I think there's something to be said with writing. I think there's something to be said with writing and memory. You know, writing is tied to our memory. So the more we write something down, the easier it is for us to remember it. So you can go to Daiso, you can go to Miniso, I think. You can go to Tokyo Hands. You could definitely find these. They're like $2. They're super cheap. Basically, kind of just look like this, just kind of a two-sided piece of paper. I'm going to teach you how to use those. Uh, yeah, so Faiziev, sorry, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. It's a great question, right? So this is kind of what I'm talking about. So English is not spoken at all. So you got to find some way to work on your input skills, try and find some way to watch English, listen to English, speak to yourself, talk to yourself, have a conversation with yourself. Um, find someone to talk to online. There's in every country, there's people who speak English. So go online, go on Facebook, go on meetup.com. You can find someone that will do like a language exchange, something like that. There are many, many ways that we can find someone to talk to. There are tons of online English schools. Of course, United Language Center, if you want to study online with us, you can reach out as well. But there are so many places where we can learn. And it's just about getting that exposure and getting that just talking as much as possible. So you can do that with yourself. You can do that with ChatGPT or any other AI platform. There's so many ways we can do that. All right. So yeah, this is the scariest one for most of my students because in my classes, if I'm a teacher, you're not allowed to translate in my class. So if you have a dictionary, or I know a lot of my students have like those fancy translation pens where they just like, and it just like translates automatically. I take those away. You're not allowed to bring those to class even from like elementary and beyond. Beginner, maybe sometimes I'll let them translate, but elementary and above, I try not to translate at all. So what I want students to do is focus on English, English. Now, if you have an important email from your kid's school or from your husband's company or your wife's, whatever, definitely translate because that's important and we need to make sure that that's accurate. But if we're learning English, if I'm watching a TV show and I find a word that I don't know, I want you to focus on using English, English translation. Really, really important. Okay, so what I want you to do is use a learner's dictionary. So learner's dictionary, the link is here. I'm going to try to share these slides yeah, here we go. So I'm sharing the learner's dictionary here. Really, really important that we use a learner's dictionary because the definitions are going to be easier. The definitions are going to be more simple for you to get through. So this is really, really important. So if we use a native speaker dictionary, Cambridge or something like that, it's going to be a little bit tricky. So let's try and look at this. Okay, so let's look up the following words. Okay, so look up the following things in English. So the meanings, the parts of speech. Is it a noun? Is it an adverb? Is it an adjective? Does this form have a noun? So we talked about the word good thing, right? So advantage, is there an adjective for advantage, right? So advantage is a noun. Oh, okay. Well, I found let's try. Let's try. We'll do that. We're on live. I can do it. I got time. Okay. So let's look up the word advantage, right? So that's really, really easy. There we go. Look at that. advantage, advantageous, advantageously. So I've already found four parts of speech there, right? So here we go, advantage. Okay, so a thing that helps you to be better or more successful than other people. Okay, so that's one definition. Now, English, sometimes we have many definitions, right? All right, I got Forrest coming in on the Zoom. That's cool. So here we have many definitions. So here's a definition number two, a quality of something that makes it better or more useful. So English is really, really important. So this is something that, when we translate, we have to be careful because if we translate something, we don't know what the context is. There are many different definitions. So how many advantage? Three. Okay, so we can take advantage, we can find some idioms, something can work to your advantage or be to your advantage, take advantage of something or somebody to be a to good advantage, to best advantage, turn something to your advantage. So there's so many different ways that we can look at this word, right? So there's examples here. All these different things. I know this card is really, really small, but on one side, I'm going to write advantage. So Natalia, I totally agree. We could have some flashcards at the school, but what I think is that and I agree with you, and it's something that we're thinking of including. This might be coming soon, by the way, in 2025. But I think that every student has different needs, right? So this is something where I learned maybe five words today. I went to class and I learned, oh, okay, I learned advantage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that down, right? Advantage, right? I'm going to write this like right on this little slip of paper, right? Advantage. It's not very clear, but I'm going to write advantage. On the back side, I'm going to write the definition. I'm going to write some example sentences. And the important thing here is, oh, right. Hey, Forrest, by the way. Um, the important thing here is, right, is I'm just, okay, synonyms. I might write some synonyms on the back as well, some examples. I'm going to create some vocabulary rings. I'm going to include the word, the meaning, the example sentence. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to translate. So, Fadziev, you just asked me a really good question. How do I, yeah, when I'm speaking, right? A lot of my students, so Faziev just asked me, I've been learning English for a long time, but when it comes to speaking, words don't come naturally. So one thing I think you're doing is you're translating. So if you're translating, what happens is our brain is really, really smart. Our brain wants to remember the easy way. They want to conserve energy. So our brain, if I see the English word and the Chinese word or the English word and the Russian word, I'm I'm an English speaker, so my brain is going to naturally remember the English word. So every time that I see that Russian word, that Chinese word, that Korean word, my brain is automatically going to match to the English word. So I'm going to say, okay, let's do Chinese. Okay, so coffee and cafe, right? So my brain is if I see cafe, it's automatically going to say coffee. I'm going to put that into my brain. Okay, coffee. What is that? Cafe. Okay, I want to drink coffee. So what's happening is we're translating inside our head as we're speaking, as we're listening. People are saying things to us. I'm translating. I'm falling behind because I'm translating. I have to be able to work on that fluency. So the best way to do this is English, English. So this is going to take a couple months. So maybe 1 month, 2 months where I don't translate anymore. Every time I learn English, I'm only doing English, English translation. I'm using a learner's dictionary. I'm making flashcards by myself. I'm making vocabulary cards. This is going to be really, and I'm testing myself every day. I'm looking, I have a ring, right? There's maybe 100, 200 words, and I'm flipping through every day. Advantage, what is that? Oh, I forgot. Okay. I look, oh, that's it, right? And I go back around. Advantage, oh, I remember. Okay. And I keep going back around, back around, back around. Now, the last thing is this is really important, and I talked about this earlier in the video, is that if I do learn a new word, I have to use it. If I learn some new grammar, I know all of my students know this. If I learn some grammar, right? If I learn some new grammar, I have to use that grammar that day or in the next couple days. So my students, we learned should have done, right? I shouldn't have drunk beer last night. I have a headache. I shouldn't have drunk some beer last night. I'm using that to express regret. We have to use that grammar in the next couple days within the natural setting in order to remember it. If we don't use it, we lose it. That's all about English. So a lot of my students, right? This is unit one. I teach them unit one. It goes inside. Okay, unit one. I remember. Then I teach them unit two. Unit two goes inside, unit one falls out. Then unit three, unit two and one fall out. So this is something where little bit little bit problem, right? We have to make sure that we kind of close one ear, and unit one, unit two, unit three, they all kind of stick inside our brain. The only way we can do that is if we use it every single day, right? We have to use what we learn. Otherwise, we're never going to remember. I can show you a picture or send you a video about how to tie a shoe. But if you never tie your shoe, you're not going to learn how to do it, right? So you have to practice, you have to use it, you have to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it. So same, I can send you a video about baking a cake. Maybe you know how to do it, but how to actually bake that cake, you have to do it. You have to measure the ingredients. You have to put everything inside. That's the only way that you're going to be able to grow your vocabulary, to grow your English, right? And yeah, Faziev, dude, even for native speakers, giving a presentation, having a talk, having a speech. It's hard for us too. I forget what I'm going to say. I get nervous. It doesn't matter whether I'm an English speaker or not, or a non-native speaker as well. So it doesn't really matter. So that's just about nerves. So take a deep breath. Like I said, just be confident. It's okay to make mistakes. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So Natalia, definitely 100%. If you buy one of those vocabulary rings, 100% your vocabulary is going to improve so much faster. And then make sure you also use it. Make sure you use it in your daily life. Go outside, use it, try to use it that day. Really, really important. Okay. And then another thing, like I said, if we have advantage, right? So learn phrases, not just words, right? So we have some phrases here, right? It gives you an unfair advantage. She had the advantage of a good education. You'll be at an advantage. So on this piece of paper, right? This one's pretty small, but I can write as small as I want. I can write some example sentences. I can write the pronunciation. I can write a bunch of things on there. Yes, Faziev, I am a native speaker. I'm from Canada. Otherwise, my English would be awesome. Um, but yeah, try and write that down on here. And then here we see like the opposite is disadvantage, right? The opposite is disadvantage. We see some other words here. So advantage is a verb. Advantaged is an adjective. So we can click here, being in a good social or financial situation. Oh, if someone is advantaged, they have a silver spoon in their mouth, something we also say. Oh, here's the opposite, disadvantage. I can click on that. So this is another great thing about not translating. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this because it's super important. Really, really, really do not translate. Do not translate. It's really, really gonna not be helpful for you. So try not to translate. It's really, really, really important. Because, like I said, if I'm learning, okay, oh, what does this mean? Not having things such as education, enough money people need in order to succeed. Oh, what does succeed mean? Okay, I click on succeed. Okay, now I can find what succeed means. To achieve. Oh, what does achieve mean? Oh, I click on achieve. I find out what achieve means, and I'm making these for every single word that I'm learning, and I'm kind of going down, making 5, 10 words every day. That's really, really going to help. I'm building this out. I'm testing myself every single day. Once I memorize this stack of paper, right? Imagine this stack is 50, 100 pieces of paper long. Throw it away, because I guarantee you'll remember it forever, right? You'll remember it forever if you do this. So test yourself every single day. Probably takes a week. Keep making it, keep adding to it, keep adding to it. Every couple days, shuffle it, make sure you mix it up, because your brain's going to remember the order. Mix it up. Really, really going to be important. I promise you, you do this for like 5, 10 days, your vocabulary is going to be like, holy crap, my vocabulary is much, much better. My name is Matt, by the way. My name is Matt, or Matthew. Like I said, I'm from Canada. All right, so that's really, really good way to build your vocabulary. So here's something that you can do right now. So you can scan the QR code if you want. That will give you access to the Learner's Dictionary. So this is just oxfordlearnersdictionary.com, so everybody can look at that. But you can scan that QR code. and you can find the dictionary. And a lot of these words were in the presentation. So modern, fluency, replace, journey, and implement. So you can try to, if you want to start with building your, vocabulary ring, vocabulary cards, here are 5 words that you can do. Yeah, Fazia, I love the questions, man. This is so awesome. I'm so happy you're watching this. Yeah, like I said, if there's something that's really, really important, you have a speech, you have a presentation, you have an important email, translate, please. Really, really important. But if you're learning English and you're trying to study and you're trying to build your vocabulary in English, definitely, definitely do not translate. But if you're doing something important, you have a school exam, you have something like that, fine, you can translate. But my goal for you guys is to try and get into that mindset of English. By the way, your English seems really good. You're asking some really good questions, so you probably speak really, really well. And it's nice to meet you too. Make sure you subscribe. You like this? I'm going to try to do this every week. Either myself or our other teacher, Mark. We're going to try to do this every single week. So yeah, look up these 5 words on the Learner's Dictionary. It'll really, really help you. I promise. If you do this, it's really, really going to help. I've done this with Chinese, even written Chinese, and then on the back I wrote the never English, maybe the pinyin or something. And I can remember to read like certain countries and like random things like Faguo, which is like France. Um, and I can remember to read these things based on these vocabulary cards that I made. And that was like 5 years ago. So it really, really helps to improve your visual, your reading, and your input. And then, like I said, if you want to use the vocabulary, you have to use it. You have to use it every single day. Just like learning how to tie a shoe, tie a shoelace. If you don't do that, it's not going to work. All right. So last one, I think this is the last one. So before we get to the lucky draw. Uh, Yeah. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. I have 3 rules in my class. So every class I have 3 rules. One, English only. Okay. So I know my students sometimes you guys are bad. You speak Chinese in class or Brazilian or something, and especially break time and after break. Anyway, I think if you guys are here for 2 hours, you should be focused on English, even at break time. But that's fine. Mistakes are a part of learning, just like you teach your kids. If they're riding a bike, they're going to fall down. If they're tying their shoe, they're not going to do it well. Definitely going to happen. Make mistakes. I want my students in class to speak as much as possible, to make as many mistakes as possible. One thing I hate is I send homework home and it always comes back perfect, or most of the time it comes back perfect. And like students get like 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 20. We check the homework. I'm like, any questions? And they're like, nope, super easy. Now I know they're checking the answers. They're finding ways to check the answers. They're looking online or something. That's not helpful. That's not advantageous. So we learned that word today. That is not advantageous. Actually, it's disadvantageous. For me, ideally, students go home, no internet, no anything, no textbook. They maybe study before they do the homework, and then they close their book and they kind of test themselves. They try to do it as if it were a test. So this is really, really important because I want you to make mistakes. I want your homework to be bad. Because if your homework is bad, hello, hi, I'm your teacher. I can help you with the homework. I can help you with those mistakes. And then hopefully you're not going to make those mistakes a second time. So mistakes are really, really important. Enjoy the small wins. If you learned anything today in the last 48 minutes, if you learned, hi, Giuliani, nice to see you. You're my teacher. I'm not your teacher. You're my teacher. If you guys learned anything today, if you guys are like, okay, I'm going to write something down. I'm going to write down an English word. I learned advantageous. I learned something. I learned a tip. Even one thing that you learned today, write it down or just celebrate that. Have a glass of champagne. I don't know. Just celebrate the win that you had for learning that thing today. That's really, really important. Okay, really, really important. Um, Enjoy that small win. Celebrate those small things. Track your progress, right? So 2025 is coming up. 2025 is coming up. Everyone's going to make a resolution. Everyone's going to set a goal for 2025. Exercise, eat healthy. If it comes to English, 5 words a day, 10 words a day, 1 word a day. I don't really care. 1 word every day. That's 365 new words by the end of the year. That's a lot. That's a lot. 2 words a day. That's 750 words a day, whatever, 730. That's a lot of words, right? So if you do 2 words, 3 words a day, don't think of it as I need to learn 100 words today. I need to learn 150 words today. Absolutely not. That's not okay. We need to learn one or two or three or four or five. That's really, really important. That's enough. It's more than enough. So if you learn 5 words a day, that's like 1,500 words in one year. That's pretty much all of spoken English that you need, right? 2 years, that's 3,000 words. You're going to be a native speaker by the end of that. So don't worry too much about how much you need to learn. English is a small step-by-step thing. So enjoy that small win. Giuliani, your English is amazing. Of course, you can understand me. Uh, Faziev, yes, sorry, maybe I'm saying your name wrong. I apologize, but hey, I used to be a translator, and if you say to translate some words without translation or thoroughness, there may be any confusions, and usually your audience asks you many unexpected questions. Of course, absolutely. You can't be prepared for everything. So, but at the same time, if you're giving a presentation, if you're giving a speech, and you're the subject matter expert in that presentation, you can prepare questions in advance. What are they going to ask? Now, of course, there's a chance that they're going to ask you something um, that's not in what you prepared. But at the end of the day, you can prepare for those questions. But just like a native speaker, if I'm a native speaker and you ask me a question right now, there might be an answer that I can't give you, right? I can't give you as a native speaker, as an English teacher. There might be some answers that I can't give you either. So, yeah, being a translator is hard. That's not easy, man. That's a difficult job. So, are you Forrest? I don't know if this is Forrest or not. I know you joined the Zoom earlier, but um, yeah, I know it's not easy. But if you're a translator, yeah, you got to be fast. You got to be on your feet. You got to be thinking all the time. So that's really not easy. I couldn't do that. I speak a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of Korean, and Giuliani, my teacher, taught me a little bit of Portuguese. Today's Friday, by the way, Sexto, which means Happy Friday in Brazilian Portuguese, at least. So Sexto, Happy Friday. All right, so those are the small wins. Enjoy those, track your progress, and then practice consistently. This is super important. I know for my students here in Singapore, the ones that are watching, even if you're not watching, that's okay. Um, consistency is super important. I know a lot of my students are going away on holiday, or they're not coming to ULC for the winter warm up or anything like that. Yeah, it's Friday. If you're not coming to ULC for the next 3, 4 weeks, it's even more important that you do this. You start doing this today. You start listening to music, listening to podcasts, watching movies, writing down the vocabulary, even reviewing what you did the last 5 months in class, right, with your teacher. Go back through your textbook every day, kind of review. What did you do? What did you learn? What did you do? Really, really important. The difference between like tying a shoelace is I learned that one time and then I practice and I practice and I practice and I learn it forever. The bad news about English, maybe good for my business, but bad for you guys, is that uh, if you if you learn English, but if you stop, if you go to your hometown for a month and you don't speak English for 1 month and you don't see English and you don't hear English and you don't even think about it at all, it's going to go down every single time. It's going to go down. So definitely suggest when we take a holiday, if you want to learn English, this is important. When we take a holiday, you got to be consistent. You got to learn every single day. Even you make this, you make your vocabulary ring, your stack of vocabulary cards. Um, it's really, really important that you bring those with you and just every day, just once, just go through it, go through it. Keep that fresh in your brain. Otherwise, it's gone. All of you have done this. All of you have gone back to your home country for 2 weeks, for 1 month, for 2 months, and you come back to class and you're like, oh my God, I forgot everything. What's going on? This is crazy. Yeah, it's just because in English, if you don't use it, bye-bye, you lose it. It's gone. All right. So short daily, I'm not saying an hour every day. I'm not saying 2 hours every day. I'm not saying 5 hours every day. I'm saying 5 minutes, 10 minutes every single day while you're away. Listen to one podcast. 6 Minute English. BBC has a 6 Minute English podcast we did during the 8 week challenge. Listen to that every day. Just listen to one podcast every day for 6 minutes. Just focus, listen. Are there any words you don't know? Write them down. Just 6 minutes every single day. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And yeah, a lot. So this comes like I told you, time and English level. If this is a chart, right? Time and English level. The more time you spend, the faster your English is going to go. That's it. So you're all like, oh, why do my kids learn faster? It's because they're young. No, it's because they go to school every day for 6, 7, 8 hours and they're doing English every day for 6, 7, 8 hours. So that's how they learn. And they're not afraid to make mistakes. They probably track their progress and they say, wow, I did a great job, or their teachers help them to track their progress. They enjoy those small wins. They practice consistently and they don't care. They meet someone from oh, I'm from Brazil. I meet someone from China. I don't care. I'm a kid. What's your name? Where are you from? Nice to meet you. But as adults, right, we're scared. We come to class, even we come to English class, right? We come to English class and we're like, we see a new student. We're like, oh my God, who's this person? What's their name? And she's like, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? My name's Matt. Nice to meet you. These are ways that really, this is why our kids are so much faster because they don't need to build confidence. Most of them are already super confident. All right. Yeah. And time equals English, like I just said. Time equals English. That's it. It's just the most important thing. Time equals English. That's it. So, yeah, so here's a way that we can activate this. Are you afraid of making English mistakes? Why? Have you ever lost your English because of a trip back to your country? The answer is absolutely yes. And then after today, do you feel more confident? Faziev, you're on our English channel right now. The English channel is called Teachers Mark and Matt. If you do like this video, please subscribe. We're going to try to do this every single Friday, same time. I'm going to be in Canada for the next 3 weeks, so I'm going to try to hop on to a few videos, but it might not be possible. So teacher Mark, who's a much better teacher than me, he will be on here next Friday at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Singapore time. So yeah, make sure that you like and subscribe. If you do that, you'll get notifications when we go live. All right, so that's it. If you guys have any last questions, Natalia, if you're still here, Giuliani, Faidziev. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrongly again, but it's okay. Make mistakes. No problem. If you guys do have any questions, yeah, go ahead and you can answer. I'll answer those questions right now. We are going to do a lucky draw right away for those students who did submit this. Yeah, so we had a survey, we had a lucky draw for our students here at ULC. I know a lot of people on YouTube are watching this. There's me, there's Mark. His head's cut off, but it's okay. Um, People's heads are falling off. That's from Dumb and Dumber. Uh, you're welcome, Giuliani. Um, so we do have 35, 40 people. We have their names here. If you can see your name here, that's great. I'm going to throw them into this box. You can see there's nothing inside. And we're going to give away 8 private lessons. Yeah, it's backwards, but you can see that it's worth. I dropped one name on the floor. That's not good. Uh, it is worth $160. That's how much one private lesson costs in Singapore at ULC. With me, with Mark, with some of our other amazing teachers. I think we have the best teachers in Singapore, maybe the world. Um, Faiziyev, yeah, Canada. Faiziyev, where are you from? Where are you from? I'm guessing, I don't know. Your name seems Russian or yeah, that kind of area. So it's probably same. It's really, really cold. Winnipeg, who's my hometown, is Winnipeg. Very flat, very cold. Like right now is minus 25 or something like that. Yeah, you gotta be crazy to go there in the winter, but I'm going there in the winter. My kids, my kids my kids want to go see snow, so we're gonna go have a white Christmas. We go see snow. So Ziad, I'm so sorry. Maybe next time we'll do that. So sorry. It's a very Canadian accent right there. I just busted that out. Ziad, this is only right now for our students who are at ULC who filled in this survey. Uzbekistan, yeah. So Uzbekistan in the winter is probably super cold. Same as Canada, I'm guessing. All right. So Fazia, stay on the channel. We might be giving away some stuff to our YouTube subscribers as well in the near future. But right now, this is only for our ULC students. So that study here in Singapore. And again, this, if anyone wants to see Singapore, that's Singapore right there. We got not only the best teachers in Singapore, but we got the best view as well. So that's for sure. All right. So free private lesson. Oh, I'm going to throw these in the box. I'm going to shake it up. I thought someone was going to be in here to help, but it's just me. I can do it by myself. Yeah, I'm a big boy. Okay. So hopefully none of them got lost because sometimes they get stuck and then the paper did move. So whoever put the paper in there, well, that was me, I guess. Did a bad job. Okay, so here's lucky draw winner number one. Use my left hand. Okay, lucky draw winner number one. What's a big piece of paper is Zhang Yue. Congratulations, Zhang Yue. You have won one free private lesson. We can clap. I think I could do this. This might be cool. We can do like a celebration. Zhang Yue. There you go. A little celly, little celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on. Oh no, I don't need help. Dion's here. Hi, Dion. And paper pull out. Okay, right hand for this one. Okay, fancy. That's a fancy gift you just won. You just won a private lesson with ULC. Congratulations. Let's do that again. Sam, fancy. Good job, fancy. Nice job. Fazia, yes, I do teach at a school. I teach at United Language Center. There's no logo here, but I do teach at United Language Center in Singapore. I'm the founder, I'm the owner of the school here. That's why I have to be the YouTube live. Mark also does it too because he's just a good guy. Okay, here's number three. Student number three. So we have Zhang Ye, we have Fancy, we have two Chinese students. So let's try and bring up, oh, one of my students. Xiao Qing, one of my students. She's very, very good, comes to school every single day, studies a lot, did really, really well, got from pre-intermediate. She got through that. She's going to go to intermediate next year. Hopefully, Xiao Qing, if you see this, congratulations. That is three students that we got. All right, let's try to choose another student. I'm looking at you. I'm not looking at the paper. All right, one of my old students. Well, she's not old, she's young, but she's one of my ex-students who still studies here, which is great. She is from Russia. She's a princess, maybe. At least she told me that. Elena, congratulations. Elena wins a private lesson. We got to do this for everybody, right? We got to do the celebration sign for everybody. That's really, really important. So Elena, good job. Congratulations. Okay, we got four more. Got four more private lessons. Like I said, you got a 25% chance because only about 40 people filled in the survey. So we got about 40% chance. Okay, I'm not, man, my students are winning. I'm looking at you when I choose the names. I'm not cheating, I promise. Takai, nice, Takai. A little fun fact about Takai, her daughter loves eggnog. And if you don't know what eggnog is, you can search that up on the internet. It is a drink that we typically drink at Christmas. We put rum in there. Takai's daughter did not drink it with rum. She's only 2 years old. So Takai, congratulations. You win a free private lesson. Free private lesson. Probably not with me. You don't want to see me again. I was your teacher already. Okay. So when you come back from Japan, from where you're from. When you're meeting Claire, you can do your private lesson. All right. So next one is okay. So this is really, really good. So we have a Chinese, three Chinese students. We have a Russian, we have a Japanese student, and now, well, kind of, we have a Brazilian student with a Japanese background, but still, Morelli, congratulations. It's a 1 hour private lesson. I was also your teacher, so I think I've taught most of my students at ULC. But congratulations to Morelli. You won a one free private lesson. Good job. So I know which teacher you're going to choose. It's going to be Malaga for sure because she's your favorite. All right. So we have six students down. We got two more. So two more lucky draw students. We got two more lucky draw students. I got seven of you watching. I assume one of you is Dion, one of you is Macy, one of you is Jowin. So most of you work here. You can't win. You can't win a private lesson. It's not going to happen. So here's number seven. Here's number seven. Yeah, I assume this is a Korean student. So that's really, really great. We now have Chinese, Russian, Japanese, Korean, and Brazilian. So we got like all of our demographics here. So that's awesome. I'm super excited that we have at least one of each student represented here. We do have one student from Lao. She's Victoria. We do have one student from Lao, but I don't think her name's in here. I didn't see it earlier. So Jihye, congratulations. Okay, this is the last one. And then I'm going to let you guys go because we're a little bit overdrawn here. 11:06. It's time for a coffee, I think. I've been talking for an hour and a half, seems like. All right, last one. I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna dig around. Okay, I'm gonna get. I don't like the big ones. Uh, last one. Okay, so we have one more. Song Wang, congratulations. You also win a free private lesson worth $160 at ULC here in Singapore. So Vaiziev, if you do have next chance to win a private lesson, please do that. I'd really, really appreciate all the questions that you're asking. So Fiziev does have one more question before I say a special congratulations to all eight of these students on these fancy little pieces of paper. Elena, Morelli, Xiao Qing, Fancy, Jiang Yue, Takai, all good job. So all eight of you, you can't see it, but all eight of you, really, really good job. Congratulations. You won $160 worth of a private lesson with us. So thank you so much for filling in the survey. I know on the survey we asked some questions about some exciting things that are coming up. I can't really talk about it exactly, but what we're trying to do at ULC, most important thing for us is that you study English. Most important thing for us is that you improve your English and that you're here in Singapore. You're part of an awesome community of people that are just like you that want to learn English, that you know that are in the same situation. You're a foreigner, you live in this city where English is the main language. We really want to make sure that your life is easier here in Singapore. So what we're trying to do is come up with ways that you can study more for less. So more for less. That's coming soon in January. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Obviously, you guys can run away right now, but Faziev, yeah, luckily I teach mostly adults, so I don't have to worry too much about discipline. All I have to do is like, be angry when they speak their native language in class, because um, like I said, most of my students are adults. But yeah, how do I discipline them? If I am teaching kids, you got to set clear boundaries at the beginning. You got to set clear expectations and clear rules at the beginning. You can use positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement, but I prefer positive reinforcement. So if someone does something well, I'll give them a prize, I'll give them a sticker, or I'll give them something if they do something well. So I focus on positive reinforcement. I think that's really, really important. Um, But I think, yeah, if they're naughty, then yeah, you as a teacher, you have to set that expectation right away. You have to make sure that it's a safe space. It's a community for them as well. They take ownership of being in the classroom. That's really, really important. So set all those things up on day one and make sure as a teacher you enforce those. Same thing goes for parenting, right? If I'm a parent, I want to make sure that if I set a rule in my house, I got to enforce it. I got to make sure that they listen. And if they don't, then and if I don't enforce it, that's my fault. And if they start to get naughty and they start to misbehave, that's 100% my fault because I didn't set clear expectations in the classroom. So there we go. That's our YouTube live for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really, really love all y'all for watching. I will see you guys. Well, we will see you next Friday. This guy, yeah, this guy right here, Mark. Again, much better teacher. He's going to have something next week for you guys. So please join that. This is a really, really good way to improve your English. So I know a lot of you have left. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. All those fun things. And I'll see you in 2025. Set those goals and make sure you fill in your vocabulary cards. And of course, little special congratulations right here to those eight that won the private lesson. So good job. Thank you so much. See you on the next